Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Hour 2 of Mass Effect. Let me change that music before the IP people mute my video. There we go. So, yeah, welcome back to Hour 2. So I just wanted to say, everybody, from before the first break, all the subs and whatnot, thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Subs and resubs, any form of support is always appreciated. But, so here we are. On the ship, you guys have had time to get on there, walk about a little bit, get familiar with how it is. As I said, the only one that's been on here prior was Rockwell, and Rockwell. Oh, that's right. Over in Roll 20, in the top right hand corner of Roll 20, there's your little settings wheel or cog. And if you click that, it's going to see your name, Digital Derb, AliS, whatever the case may be. Change your character to, change whatever it says there to whatever your character's name is. Ollie just did it. He's now Rockwell. And that allows me to remember what you're called.
So Scott's got dad brain, so he can't remember names.
Yeah.
Happens when you get a kid.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had dad brain since I was a kid, so, you know. It's old. It's just old.
You're just crap, really.
Okay. So, you guys have had time to walk around the actual ship itself and get familiar with its layouts. You've been able to go and see the med bay area, which is actually rather small. It is not as big of a med bay as you've seen on other frigates.
It's only a 30 cruise ship or so, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But other ships of equal size, you would still expect it to have maybe more stock or whatever. Who knows? Whatever the case may be. You also walking around, you're able to see like where it is the weapons are, and they do have some new. They do have some beautiful new weapons there. It's kind of funny the way that dogfights happen in Mass Effect. It's really interesting the way that they work, because more or less ships fly at each other and they just barely miss each other, and they just kind of like unload all their weapons at the same exact time and blast each other, and almost every weapon is a direct hit, but you have shields that protect you from it, and they kind of like just keep doing that back and forth until like one ship finally starts piercing through the other one and they start actually taking damage, and then eventually either one ship's weapons just kind of overheat and are no longer functioning, and so they die rather quickly, or another one just gets overpowered because you have better weapons, or the case may be. Because usually you're shooting like lasers and things like that as part of your ship-to-ship combat weapons. Not everybody actually carries torpedoes and explosives to pass through, because that's heavy. Even though you can control mass fields and whatnot, that takes up a lot of space and it's heavy. Whereas a big laser gun or a bunch of the big laser guns, it works. So it's usually attrition is how it is that you survive combat from one to the other one. It's exciting, it's fast paced, but everybody always knows how the first few bouts of combat goes. So when you're walking through and you see the munitions area and you see like where the big laser cannons and whatnot are set, you can see that they are huge. They're beautiful. They're freshly made. They actually still have that slight oil smell to them, like any new piece of equipment does. Clearly, these maybe have never even been shot. I was having my tests back in the, maybe they've never even been shot on this ship before. But oh man, it's like that like delicious, sweet smelling new oil engine part smell.
Yummy.
What was that?
Yummy.
The area where you guys, so where your bunks are, where it is that everybody's going to go rest. You guys are on a rotating bunk situation. So there are 30 crew on the ship plus the captain. So while there are 30 crew on the ship, there's going to be 18 bunks that are set up for everybody. So you're pretty much on a 100% rotating 15 on, 15 off kind of way of doing things. Where your bunk is, each room is going to have 6 bunks. So there's going to be 3 rooms, each with 6 bunks, and that's going to be how it works. I'm going to have it set so that James and Lena are in the same room, though different bunks. You guys don't share it. And that Rockwell is going to be having a different room. The reason why Rockwell has a different room is because he is an NCO, and so they try to keep like the NCOs off to the side. The NCOs and officers together, and then all the other enlistmen together over there. Just kind of like cleaning up a little bit.
I just figured they'd shove him off to the side because he's Navy garbage, but whatever works for you.
You're on a Navy ship.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
know, I can still talk shit.
Yeah.
So you do walk around, you take in all these things. The mess area is decent size, the large, relaxing area, has a bunch of different things on it. Probably one of the most exciting parts about the mess area is that when you guys walk in, I'm not sure which one of you three would get most excited, but you're walking in, you're looking around, okay, yeah, there's the food, and then you see that table. Oh, you know that table. You fucking love that table. You grew up with it. You make your way over to it. You don't go running up to it most likely. You probably just smooth away, nice and cool, make your way over there. And then you flick it on and you check the settings and you're like, oh yeah, they're all here. One button, boom. It's foosball, but it's hologram foosball. Another one, boom. It's air hockey, but hologram air hockey. And it's got all the different games that you used to love. What is it? Table tennis, everything, or ping pong, whatever you want to call it. All of them are right there for you. Everything that you could possibly want on this one table. You're like, oh my God, I'm totally calling dibs. I'm never going to lose my spot on this table. So,
I have a feeling
truly
that's
is
a
the
Carmine
future.
thing.
what was that?
I have a feeling
This
that's
truly
the
is the
Carmine.
future.
Oh, yeah. Carmine, is that you? Is that you? So which one of those
Totally.
games do you hold the record on?
Probably table football. Just on the off hours in the military school, just practicing non-stop, taking
When
on all
drunk.
challengers, vanquishing them.
For which one was it?
The table football.
Foosball.
Oh,
foosball, whatever.
Foosball. Oh, table football. Oh, yeah, that's
we
right.
call it table
Because
football
that's right.
in-
That's right. Because my football is different. I was like, what? Football?
Yeah.
I forgot. Listen, next Thursday, it's going to be tough playing as a vampire when I could be watching the Pats' first preseason game. So it's going to be one of those. Yep, listening, Mathis. Coming on the screen right here. Yep. Uh-huh. What? Yeah. All right, so for real football. So you guys are walk around, you taking in all the different sites of the ship. Eventually the captain calls all hands on deck, and actually calls everybody's attention to the mess hall. So it's because of the style of the ship and whatnot, and because of the personality of the captain, he's not one of those, I'm going to go to the bridge so I can stand there and an imposing imagery around me and stand above everybody else and look down and give that kind of hollering. The bridge was designed to be smaller and not take up a ton of space because it wasn't necessary. There are other things that you need throughout the ship. So he's actually going to call everybody to the mess hall itself, because that's the large area where he can speak to everybody face to face simultaneously. And so you're all over by the mess hall. Carmine making sure he leans on the table.
My table.
Stroking it. Totally.
Are you stroking it? Never mind. So you guys
Don't ask questions nobody wants the answer to, okay?
yeah. So you make your way to the mess area where he can stand there and be able to have a conversation with all of you. Now, again, because of the fact that he is not the kind of person that's going to stand tall on something else, not necessarily everybody gets a view. If you happen to be a shorter person and closer in the back, you might not be able to see what's going on. But your characters, because you're PCs, I guess you can all get a good view. So he waits until everybody falls in line and everybody's there and paying attention. And then he starts his speech. Men, women, boys and girls. Some of you know who I am. Some of you do not. So I'll make this brief in my introduction. I'm Captain Christopher Daxton. I am the captain of this ship, the Stalingrad. We're going to find ourselves in many situations where decisions need be made, and they need be made quickly. Orders will be given, and they must be followed and followed through. We've all chosen a life where other lives depend on ours. Look to your left, look to your right, look in front of you and behind, and you'll see many around you who need you day to day, every waking moment, and even some of those when you're sleeping, to do your job and to do it well, so that one day they can go home to their loved ones, just as you hope the same of them, so you can go home to yours. But of those loved ones, should you slip, should you falter in your tasks, should you choose to be lazy today, I'll take care of it tomorrow. It's their lives that are also at stake. We are in a different time, a different era in human history. We find ourselves into a far deeper and wider ocean than we ever have before. And so we have an interesting new task set before us. We must either decide to learn to swim with the sharks or get eaten by them. So here we are, flopping about in their waters. No understanding which way the current blows. No knowing how many moons there are or when they rise. We need to find our way here. We need to find the path. I have selected this crew, each one of you approved to be on my ship by me, so that each one of you can do your task and do it well. We have an important job. This ship, the Stalingrad and her crew, we have an important task to all of the Alliance and all of humanity. We are tasked with the responsibility of learning of these sharks that we share this water with, learning who they are, learning their motives, learning what it is that they're good at and their flaws, learning whether or not they see themselves as friend or foes. It's our job to discover these things and to report it back to the Alliance so we can make these decisions in the future, snapshot decisions, with new orders that must be followed through. Is everyone here prepared to do what need be done? Is everyone here prepared to follow every order to the T? Is everyone here prepared to find out everything we can in this new ocean? He kind of looks up, and it's one of those like simultaneous like huzzas and oorahs of the soldiers about. I imagine your characters being equally soldiery. You join in with the huzzah or oorah as well. At least the two of you. Ollie, do you give a huzzah with his statement? Because I know there was something in there that you kind of raised an eyebrow
Rockwell
at.
does not. Rockwell is quiet and actually wasn't in front. Definitely was not in the front of the crowd. He was at the back of the crowd. Hopefully no one notices. But he is
would we
not.
notice?
He's not a happy chappy right now.
So, Ollie. Sorry, what was I saying? My apologies. So he gives this out. He gives this speech. You guys all listen to what it is that he's saying or doing or whatever. My apologies. I remember what I was going to say. So it's kind of like, that person that goes to church and like, oh, I just don't like church, or this isn't my church. And so everybody's saying like the amens, and you're just kind of like you move the lips,
Yes.
but you don't really like.
I definitely did something, but I didn't go like, "Wah,
Yeah.
USA." I was like, no.
It's legit the lip service. Legit they could put their ear to your lips and they would hear not even wind pass through your pipes. So and so after everybody gives like their huzzahs and oorahs, he says, so we're on our maiden voyage and we're heading to a new path. We're heading out to discover these races, these species, these creatures, these things. We're heading out to discover those strengths. Every one of you must always be on your guard. Every one of you must always ask questions. Every one of you must always be suspicious. We all know what has happened in the past because one of these races decided it was appropriate to attack as opposed to inform. Well, that race turns out to have been one of the respectful ones, one of the respectable ones, one of the ones that leads this galactic society. And so they play by the rules, or their interpretation of them. But we're going to come across others that do not lead the society, do not follow the rules, do not even try to interpret them, and certainly are not respectful, and so are not respectable. And you must always be on your guard. A smile could be a baring of fangs. A handshake could be a lowering of the guard. Be ever alert and be aware as we head out on our maiden voyage to discover why, what, and how each one of them got here. Dismissed. And kind of everybody goes off in their own way. And it's one of those things where the speech started off as stating who he was, and a bit of emboldening on the task and just kind of like making sure that you know your place, but then ended with, was that xenophobia? And everybody goes about their tasks. So most of the people kind of like fan out and go about where they're going. We're gonna say for one reason or another, due to contemplation or just really like the table and don't want to leave it, whatever the case may be, the three of you are amongst the last few stragglers. You can choose to either say hello to one another, or you can just kind of like piss off and go wherever it is that you want to anyways. You are not forced into an interaction at this point.
Rockwell is standing by the table, but he's got his Omni tool out and he's doing stuff on it. And he's got that kind of thing when you can tell someone is on the verge of being angry and they're sort of talking themselves down in their head. He's got that going on because he's not allowed to be angry right now. He's got that face and he's not hiding it because he kind of probably wants people to know. But he's like, he's on working his Omni tool and his fingers are fast, Scott. His fingers are fast on that Omni tool.
Don't you dare take it out on my table.
What do you mean by your fingers are fast? What does that mean
Typing
exactly?
very quickly.
What does it mean to be typing very quickly?
He's
like
ranting
angry
on the
typing.
XNet version of Tumblr or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can see this guy's pissed, and I can see that, Carmine is sort of like eyeing him up, like, keep around some fucking table, yeah. I don't care how mad you are. I can sit, so I just walk up in between. I'm like, I'm really not sure which one of you is gonna lose it first, but my bet's on the guy with the big guns. So I point at Carmine.
Okay.
We'll have to see.
Rockwell turns and leaves. Doesn't even reply.
So I was wrong.
Did you literally? So I was wrong.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so you are. My apologies. So you're standing there leaning on the thing. You guys can kind of like go. The two of you do interact any further?
No, I'd probably just shrug and just walk off.
Doesn't even want to play with the table. He just wants to have it.
I've asserted my dominance over the table. I can play whenever I want.
That's true. How it works.
Fair enough.
Okay, so you guys are going about to your varying areas to go about your business and see what it is that you need to do. So you're set out to, like, you're going to the bridge. You're going to probably go look at where the where the requisitions officer is, so you can start rubbing elbows. Like, hey, requisitions officer, by the way. Her name is Julia.
Lovely.
Yes. And Lena is all those areas that she had seen on the schematics and whatnot, search around before. She's able to confirm that there is like those are really good places, spots to like kind of like, oh, if I like goes over there, it whips out her Omni tool, kind of. Okay, if I remove these 5 screws or bolts or whatever they are right here, this panel does come loose, and there most likely is, in fact, an open cavity back there. Kind of like marks that on her Omni tool, but doesn't remove the actual physical panel. And then kind of goes around and looks for all the other different areas, little stowaway places on the ship.
I want to go to the kitchen next.
She's
as
making
well.
smuggling spots.
Sure, you said you're going to go where?
To the kitchen after that.
Sure. So you make your way over to the kitchen. What are you going to do in the kitchen?
I'm gonna look for some spare crackers.
Okay.
I'm gonna put him in my smuggling holes just in case, because looking at that guy that just walked away that was really pissed off, I'm not so sure we're gonna survive this. Well,
You're not wrong. Doesn't fill you with confidence, does it?
So
At
you
least we don't
guys,
have to see him often.
you guys are so as you guys are going about your business. Eventually, you Rockwell are going to be summoned by the captain to go and speak with him. Sorry, to go and speak with him privately in his quarters.
Okay.
So of course the captain has his own quarters. So
As he, I probably get the message. I'll go to one of the other pilots and be like, if I don't come back in half an hour, assume I'm dead, and then just keep going.